It's spring and the gardens are finally awake. I'm out here today at Walter's Gardens, the trial garden for proven winners, and we're going to actually do a two-part series here. So this is part one of 6 great spring blooming perennials. So let's go ahead and take a walk through the garden and show you what we saw today. So it is the beginning of May right now, just to kind of give you an idea of where we're at here in the gardens. So it's beginning of May. We are located in a zone 5B, 6A garden here in Michigan. This is the Stormcloud amsonia, also known as blue star. This plant likes to be grown in full sun to part shade locations. It gets about 2 to 2.5 foot tall and about 3 to 3.5 foot wide. It's hardy in zones 4 to 9, so probably about anyone watching this video right now, this is going to be a great plant for your location. These beautiful periwinkle blue flowers are not the only thing that really stand out with this plant. It also has excellent near black stems. So as this plant is emerging from the ground, it's got great interest before these flowers even really start to put on the show. It's an early summer bloomer, late spring, early summer bloomer, and really can be grown in just about any type of soil condition. So if you're looking for a beautiful plant to use as a specimen out in the garden, or even just something to really create that eye-drawing focal point, Amsonia Stormcloud is a really nice early spring blooming plant. Cat's Pajamas is an excellent low-growing mounding habit perennial that likes to be grown in full sun to part shade locations. It's hardy in zones 3 to 8. And as we're looking at them here in this garden, I can see a little bumblebee just buzzing around, checking them out. So a great plant for the pollinators as well. Cat's Pajamas is a drought-tolerant, long-blooming perennial. If they start to stop blooming, go ahead and just give them a little bit of a trim back, and they'll be right back flowering within no time. The great pollinator for bumblebees, hummingbirds, butterflies, you name it, the pollinators are going to love it. And if deer are an issue in your garden, Nepeta are a great plant to plant that are a deer-resistant variety. So really not needing to worry about the deer. It gets about 12 to 14 inches tall and 12 to 14 inches wide and creates a beautiful clumping mounding habit. An excellent long blooming perennial to add to your collection. Breaking up the color scheme a little bit from purple, we're going to take it to the yellows here. This is the Euphorbia Bonfire, also known as a cushion spurge. This is a great spring blooming perennial, nice mounding habit. It gets about 18 inches tall and can spread up to around 30 or so inches wide. Hardy in zones 5 to 9, and it has these beautiful yellow flowers in the spring. But the spring isn't the only time this plant shines. It also shines in the fall with its excellent fall colored foliage. It likes to be grown in full sun to part shade locations, and it really is a very versatile plant. Doesn't require a lot of water once it gets established. It's deer resistant and rabbit resistant, so there's a lot of those good boxes that we have just checked off the list. So if you're just looking for something unique and different to add to the garden, pretty flowers, unique foliage, Euphorbia Bonfire. Here we have the 2023 Perennial Plant of the Year, Heuchera or Corabel's Dolce Wild Berry. Let's go in and take a closer look at this beautiful foliage plant. Heuchera wild berry, it gets about 10 to 14 inches tall and spreads to about 16 to 20 inches wide. It's hardy in zones 4 to 9. It always has this beautiful foliage shade going on, kind of that purpley, deep, dark black going on, but it also gets some really nice white flowers during the summer. This plant can be grown in full sun to full shade locations. It has average water needs and can grow in poor to average soil conditions. It's a great plant for attracting the butterflies and the hummingbirds. You also see a few of the native bees perhaps hanging out around this plant. A great plant for edgings or borders, or just looking to add a little bit of splash of color into maybe some of your shade to part shade locations. It's so easy to talk about the flowers when you're talking about perennials, but I think that foliage is also a great thing to talk about. Here we have the fescue grass called blue whiskers, a nice little ornamental grass. It only gets about 10 to 12 inches tall and 10 to 12 inches wide, creating these beautiful little mounds of blue-green foliage. Hardy in zones 4 to 8. This plant can be grown in full sun to part shade locations and is really nice if you have like a rock garden or an area that's just lacking a little bit on the water. This is a great plant to plant in that type of an area. Deer resistant, so no need to worry about the deer nibbling. It's great as a border, planted in a container. Just a really easy to grow, small miniature sized grass to add into the garden. This here is the Fescue blue whiskers. We have the iberis snowsation. This is also known as candy tuft. This is a great spring blooming mounding perennial, and you can just see what a beautiful mass of white flowers it has. It's hardy in zones 4 to 9 and gets about 6 to 8 inches tall and spreads to about 12 inches wide. This little grouping here is a mass planting of probably 5 different plants, so that's why we're seeing such a powerful impact here in this garden. It likes to be grown in full sun locations and attracts the butterflies. If you have kind of a drier spot in your garden, it does handle more of that drought tolerant space just fine. Drought tolerant, evergreen, creates a great border or ground cover, the iberis snowsation. Thank you for walking through the gardens with us today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And if you are new to the station, please subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to our YouTube channel, and there you will be able to get links to all these beautiful plants that we saw today in the garden. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.